was surreal.
And cops are coming from every direction onto the road.
Not only a highway empty at rush hour, but what led up to Seattle's biggest freeway becoming a ghost town.
I saw all these cars being turned around. I'd never seen anything like that before.
Most people have probably never seen anything even close to this. A man stopping his truck in the middle of the highway. Witnesses tell police it was on fire, perhaps intentionally. And then this.
911 calls had this driver with some type of aerosol can spraying the freeway.
Troopers flooded the scene. They say the suspect drew a large green circle on the ground and then displayed a knife. They tried to get him to drop the weapon, first with words and then with a taser.
He brandished a knife at our officer, so we're still trying to figure out exactly why.
With public safety in mind, troopers say they had no choice but to shoot. The type of response that ground Interstate 5 to a standstill.
Well, everyone was standing on top of their cars.
Some drivers got out of their cars. Others turned around to find a way home. Traffic was a mess in all directions.
Seems to be a whole lot for a shooting.
A shooting investigation stretching into the night, but a highway that will flow once again, likely long before all the answers do.
You've got several cars, several witnesses still around this subject who is obviously acting erratically, and we don't know exactly why.
This tonight was like Mardi Gras times a million.
Well, it started with a bonfire. I mean, I guess you could say it started with the Seahawks winning the Super Bowl.
Man, we killed them guys tonight, man. We killed them, man. They had no Peyton Manning. We killed them.
The fire happened about an hour and a half ago. People just started getting a little buck wild, you know. You know, it's natural when the Seahawks win the Super Bowl.
The cops was going for the Broncos.
We had them under pressure, man, running out the pocket, everything. It was no, police is about to come in.
We got the camera.
We gotta get up out
They
of
don't
here.
want us out.
We're having a good time, we're being peaceful, and they don't want us to be here.
What happened to her?
I don't know.
We're just partying here. The cops are just doing their job. You know, they're not getting out of control. Look at them right now, dude. Look at that whole force right there, dude. Is that not intimidating?
The cops got carried away. I got behind the line. I'm 65 years old. I go behind them. Move! You gotta move faster, man! Move back! I get it. I just said on camera that the police were doing a great job, and then they moved in and blew it because you don't pour gasoline on a fire.
Everybody parties, right? You know, I think you don't need to shoot flashbangs. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, clearly I'm unarmed. I'm not out here shooting people. I'm carrying a flag, wearing a wig.
They're trying to ruin our fun, man. All we're trying to do is celebrate our championship.
I would say it was all fun. I think the police actually did a really good job of staying out of the riot so people could have fun. I mean, they came in when it was time for everyone to go. There were, of course, a couple people who were trying to fight the cops who didn't like them intervening, but they had to at some point. So I think overall it was fun. I'm not going to forget this night for a long time.
All right, you ready?
Yep.
It's been said, love can hurt.
And I'm excited. I love getting tattooed.
And if it's true,
you okay?
That there really is strength in numbers.
Welcome to the party.
These 12s are taking great pains to spread the love.
Hi, Crystal. This is Jeff over at Project Tattoo. Just letting you know you're up next for your 12th man tattoo.
I'm getting the 12th man for my 12th tattoo for $12. It's a sign. Go Hawks!
A 12 for 12. Hard to beat that. It's the brainchild of the folks over at Project Tattoo in Montlake Terrace.
Next week we're doing Skittle tattoos.
I'm gonna be like, what's up, my tattoo brother? Yeah, and maybe give him a high five.
Officially a true blue 12.
Nearly 50 12s have come in for the same digits so far. And like true sportsmen,
if you get it on your butt cheek, then I'll buy you a Subway sandwich.
They got a little competitive with the locations, if you know what I mean.
These guys are real quick, real gentle.
But the needling didn't stop at the ink.
Gonna bleed red, blue, angry, but not red for San Francisco, that's for sure.
At the end of the day, the wigs, they come off.
Look at
The manis, petties,
Cool, huh?
yeah. They chip away.
Yeah. Can you say go Hawks?
But the tat,
Yeah.
that's the symbol. That lasts a lifetime.
Perfect, too, because the 12th man never gets traded.
In Montlake Terrace, Jamie Tompkins, Komo-Tv News.
A one-man sawmill is backbreaking, dangerous, very hard work.
I work, like everybody else. Everybody else work too, right?
His boss says not like him. This is Benjamin Nunez Marquez. Nunez, for 15 years, has kept alive this family-owned mill on Orcas Island, custom milling rock-hard island fir. Customers love his work. His boss loves his work.
You know what? I think I'm lucky.
But after all these years, immigration authorities discovered he's illegal. Deportation, April 29th. He's sorry about the whole mess and does not want to go back to Mexico.
Because I've been here for so long and this is my home. I feel like I'm an American in my head.
Enter 90-year-old Jack Helsell, who built the sawmill and hired Nunez back then.
He assured me that he was legal. Bull was all I can say. Now I can say that.
But Helsell is fighting to stop the countdown to Nunez's deportation, writing everyone, including the president, and getting a reply.
We suspect that somebody wrote it for him.
Helsell argues immigration reform is about keeping exceptional people like Nunez.
Oh, he's unbelievable. He showed us a different level of work ethic than we'd ever encountered before.
Oh, I wish I can stay here and be legal and then be free, buy a small house, and I would love to see that happen, but I don't know if it's gonna happen.
On Orcas Island, Jeff Burnside, Komo-Tv News.
If one man's trash is another man's treasure, perhaps no one knows this better than Mike's son.
It's a lot of hard work.
Hard work helped build his recycling business into an empire. And while it's mostly circuit boards and old computers, occasionally he finds a rare gem.
We probably get 200-300 VCRs that day.
Most people wouldn't blink twice at an old VCR, certainly not Todd Wang.
I think this one's a little bit worn out. I think it's from like the 70s.
Young enough, he barely remembers using one. Problem is, his mother did.
My mom came back from work and then she was just looking for the VCR and she was really sad. So that's when we knew
that they probably shouldn't have recycled it. A mistake that meant it was headed for a shredder.
She was ready to crawl into the trucks on Monday morning and go through on her own.
She told us and then we were all freaking out as a family.
Inside was some of the family's life savings. Now among 12 tons of stuff workers had to dig through. Amazingly,
you got refrigerators, people helping out.
After hours of searching, they found it.
I got it. That's that type of environment that we work in.
That was, I think, the last VCR in the bin. And here's the last one.
I think it was just more stuck inside like this.
Yeah. Today, the Wangs were reunited with the old VCR and nearly $6,000 in cash inside.
Please keep it in the bank, not in the VCR.
Yeah, thank you.
With the promise to still recycle their old electronics, but this time replace them with something a little more practical.
I think we'll get a safe.
In Renton, Lindsay Cohen, Komo-Tv News.
The elephant display at the Woodland Park Zoo is closing. Advocates want those elephants sent to a sanctuary instead of another zoo.
Make them safe.
They came out tonight to voice that opinion during the board meeting's public comment period, but we, and most of them, never got inside.
Which I found appalling. It is a public meeting. I don't know how they could lawfully exclude the press and other witnesses.
People were puzzled by the fact that access was limited, even though the zoo is partially funded by public dollars. The public was told seating was maxed out, but the media was originally told they were just not allowed in.
They said press isn't allowed.
And I can't believe they're not letting the media in.
Concerns grew.
Makes you wonder what they are hiding.
Then those who were allowed in
Jensen came out
told us they were stopped from recording.
and just started raging about photos.
So they're clamping down on what they're sharing with the public, and they get very testy.
As the night went on,
we've already seen one board member leave out the back door, and the front door here still locked. We can't get in.
And then the rest of the board
Hey, can one of you guys tell us why we weren't allowed in the meeting?
tried to leave by a side exit.
Can one of you comment on why we weren't allowed in?
None would talk
You're just scurrying off to your cars.
or respond.
There's got to be some formal explanation.
Some even covered their faces.
Coming in? Yeah, come on.
Eventually, we were allowed inside, where the board CEO spoke to us.
It's not a public meeting. It's not advertised as a public meeting.
But there was a public comment period on the agenda. She said it came down to seating, and even if there were seats, we couldn't record anything.
Well, it was actually a capacity issue. We don't have a policy that keeps the media out of the room. We don't allow filming in our board meetings because it's a private board meeting.
For all the hikes in all of Washington state, this flat 1-mile trek would prove the most difficult for John and Tamami Tam.
Yeah, it's a really small amount of water this year.
They're retracing the same steps, the same path they took 4 years ago today. But instead of holding hands as they did then with their daughter Grace, they hold her memory and her marker.
I wish she's here.
She was just 11 years old, out on a family hike on a beautiful summer day when the ugliest of tragedies took place.
An ice slab from a melting ice cave crushed Grace,
today,
ending her dreams and devastating her family.
Her family made peace with the mountain and made it safer at the same time.
They hope that you enjoy the ice caves only from a distance.
I appreciate the plaque, and I want the plaque, but I wish I'm not seeing the plaque.
This plaque they placed tells not only of the past accident, but of present danger.
It's hollow underneath.
That hollow ice caves are melting here. That Grace's tragedy could be anyone's tragedy.
Not just a child. I wouldn't want that to happen to anybody. I mean, that's the bottom line.
4 years may have passed. Thousands of hikers walking this very same trail.
You're gonna help other people to be safe. I miss you.
But every hiker for years to come will have compassion and grace at their side.
It's absolutely gorgeous, but it's absolutely dangerous. We need to respect nature with more than a cross.
Deep in the heart of basketball season.
And orange is the spirit color for Decatur.
It was a full court press in a high school gym for something that normally takes place at the end of the year.
It is not June.
But don't tell that to students and staff at Decatur High School.
They show us what's good about life.
Because the end of the year simply couldn't wait.
Excited? Nervous?
No, not really.
For Dom Cooks.
Enjoy your day, bro.
To know Dom is to know he loves attention.
Bernie!
And flirting and football.
Hey, I think it's smart on the football team as a freshman.
But this one-time standout football star has since been sidelined by a brain tumor.
I'm proud of you, man. It's been a long, hard road.
Because that road might end before the school's scheduled graduation. This year, they decided, why wait? They gathered up a few hundred folks and moved the pomp and circumstance to February.
I can think of no better students than them to do this for.
Students brought their parents.
No, it's not going to be sad. It's going to be awesome, I think.
Teachers needed tissues.
She better not cry.
And someone thought how better to surprise this football fanatic than to bring a Seahawk. uniting two players who faced adversity on and off the field. Tonight, one of them got out of his wheelchair and walked across the stage. Shining moment for a young man who might not live to see his own pro football career.
I want to give a quick shout out to the class of 2014. Make more.
But his positive attitude is victory enough in the eyes of his fellow classmates. Beyond the puddles and the siding and the ordinary beige paint, there is genius at work. Hard to believe, but hidden inside a plain old shoreline building is where some of Seattle's most storied musicians recorded history.
Pearl Jam tent, Alice in Chains, Candlebox, Blind Melon, a Temple of the Dog.
You might even call this place a temple of its own.
They call buildings incubators of ideas. And this is kind of like a think tank in a way.
Today, a war of room guy is belting out a few bars on his trumpet.
Everybody.
Each note goes through a soundboard older than he is.
The old guard says, you know, music isn't the same anymore after digital.
Before digital, before computers, there was this, the Neve console.
They just come right out.
This one has seen Seattle's best.
The soundboard is the heart of this whole place.
But eventually, a heart stops ticking. The console is from 1973. 41 years of rock stars and rap albums have taken their toll.
See, a button just fell off.
So London Bridge Studio is doing something decidedly modern about their vintage soundboard. Instead of hiking rates for musicians, they've created a crowdfunding campaign to raise $75,000 to repair it.
It's like a secret weapon. It's like a secret ingredient.
It's an ingredient they believe behind a recipe of success, one they hope will end on a high note. In Shoreline, Lindsay Cohen, Komo-4 News.
Now, get ready for Mariners baseball.
Got game programs, guys, $3.
Hot dogs and your dogs!
The games mean something down at Safeco these days.
Comes with scorecard.
We're always optimistic out here. Here's the Felix dog right there for you.
Joe Bernstein has been here since the Kingdome days.
Hey, how are ya?
But this season...
Definitely more traffic and definitely more excitement.
They've already matched their win total from last season, 71 games, and they have 31 games to go.
I think they're for real.
Ginger Dorsher sees more than a dozen games every year. She's one of the many giving attendance a small boost.
So we know our season ticket holders, our best customers.
Rebecca Hale with the Mariners said the club sent out playoff ticket notices last week. Lots of optimism out there.
So a slow day, it's a Monday.
But we have to keep some perspective. Only one sellout this year, opening day.
I thought there'd be more people.
23rd in overall attendance, and last season they drew less than 10,000 fans 2 different times.
Later in the week, it'll get crowded.
Even with the postseason in sight, the fans aren't showing up.
You want to be a bandwagon fan? Fine. Come be a bandwagon fan for the Mariners. Come on out, for crying out loud.
Program.
Part of it may be perception. These fans traveled from Texas. They don't see much M's gear around Seattle, but instead something else.
You see number 12 everywhere. I'm like, guys are obsessed with number 12.
It's tough when you're in the shadow of the champs. You just have to have a little faith.
How about you back there, sir?
And maybe some more runs.
Hey, thanks. We'll see you later, Mike.
So these guys are scraping and fighting, and they believe they can win this.
The time is now.
Welcome to hell.
The timed echoes of anticipation bounce from the pitch to the rafters.
It sounds animalistic. It has that fervor to it.
And keeping that time.
As you can tell, I sweat all the time. It's exhausting.
Is the man of the mallets, John Danforth.
Feels like I'm a pretty integral part of civic pride.
He's one of the main drummers in the Emerald City Supporters, the completely volunteer group of crazies jumping up and down and living and dying with every shot. And if you've been across the stadium, you've heard that penetrating, deep rumble. It's what captivated Derek Pells to join the ECS 3 years ago.
I've never seen a group organize and, orchestrating people to deliver a message.
They say the constant drumming and unending energy is a blend of German and English football pageantry with a certain Seattle flair.
For us, it's tradition. It's how we welcome the boys to the pitch.
In a way, this is better than Danforth's real job.
I sling cider at Pike Place, man.
So it does come down to timing. The nights and weekends giving up to bang away an hour and a half of pure madness and noise. Anything for a win for those Sounders.
I love making sure that we do the best that we can do every single game for the boys because they deserve it.
John Humbert, Komo-Tv News.
Hi there.
Bob?
Yep, that's me.
Lucky are those who find their place in this world.
I got the press with us this time.
Blessed are those whose place finds them. They pick him up at the same time every morning.
And here we go.
Bob Montgomery will be 93 in January, and he takes this ride so he can do a thing he's been doing for 85 years.
I figure I can still do it. Why not do it? Sitting around in a rocking chair is not my idea of living.
He walks into a building in downtown Bremerton and then into his shop on the 5th floor.
And here's total chaos.
And it's like a step back into another time.
Get some lights in here.
Here is where this ancient little man pushes back against the irresistible force of change, all the while giving last rites to a dying technology.
Tell me what it is about typewriters.
I don't really know anymore. I've been involved with typewriters since I was little. I mean, really little.
His dad owned a typewriter repair shop in the 20s. Bob started working there when he was 7. When he joined the Army and went off to liberate Europe in World War II, somebody found out he could fix a typewriter. They took away his rifle and put him to work liberating stuck keys and broken space bars.
This one says very small parts. Let's see what's in here. Get a load of this.
His is a world populated by little doodads, thingamajigs, and whatchamacallits. Intricate relics he's collected forever.
Hooray! I got it.
The typewriter. How many masterpieces? How many scripts, office memos, manifestos, poems? How many love letters were banged out on the clickety-clackety contraptions that have punctuated Bob Montgomery's life?
I'm catering to people who are willing to pay $125 for a machine that was obsolete 50 years ago.
How's business?
It's probably, if I was really trying real hard on volume, it's not worth it anymore.
Typewriters, like the friends Bob has known, are almost all gone now.
I'm the last of the breed. There's hardly anybody who knows how to take these machines apart and put them back together and make them work.
What's that mean to you?
I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm one of a kind.
In here, watching him resuscitate an old ribbon mechanism, you can't help but think about the passage of time and what it does to people and the world.
Who's going to do this when you're gone?
I don't know. Nobody.
He never married, never had kids. He works for a while, then collapses. And then works some more, and collapses.
Yeah.
Bob isn't pining away for the good old days. There are no romantic notions about the way we were, no mourning the demise of the instrument of his expertise.
Maybe 10 years, maybe 20 years. No one on the planet's going to be using a typewriter.
I know. It doesn't bother me at all.
He says he's already lived 15 years longer than he thought he would. Bob and his clickety-clackety contraptions have taken care of one another for so very long that here in the little shop, it's somehow comforting to imagine the two of them, when the time comes, going off to become quietly extinct together.
Not tired, just used up.
Bunny,
Call it fate,
you want to hold her?
divine intervention,
You want to hold this and I'll get a brush and you can brush her?
or purely chance.
Wow, look at all that hair coming off her.
Whatever it is, when it happens,
She likes it.
lives are changed. And how these lives changed all happened at the end of one afternoon.
He was just, getting ready to step off that way because he saw the fields this way, I guess, and figured that's where people with horses were at.
One concerned citizen, two caring policemen.
And this is, a guy who just can't take care of himself. It's not like a choice that he made.
You just hate to see someone who needs so much help and is so dependent have no one to rely on.
Jake is 19 years old and living with cerebral palsy. After being treated by one hospital, he was released and put on a bus and then chose to get off in Monroe. He was found wandering down Highway 2 looking for a woman who'd been nice to him and told him about her horses. He was homeless. Relentless work by his newfound friend Aaron and by officers Derek Leather and Paul Henderson got everyone nowhere. Another hospital took him in, and then our story about Jake aired.
I was just struck.
More lives changed.
Came running down the hallway and jumped in my arms, and I just gave him the biggest hug. And I mean, it's just the best gift ever.
Let's go back.
Nicole, already a foster parent, a parent of children with cerebral palsy, couldn't get to Jake fast enough.
As a mother of two kids with cerebral palsy, I just can't imagine a scenario like that.
She had a home.
I go to bed.
At least I've got a bed.
And she had a horse.
You're doing a good job.
What are the chances?
We tried, everybody tried, every agency, every organization, everything, and it just took a couple people on their own independence to be able to come out and help them.
Not a lot of people would open their home.
Not a lot of people would open their homes.
Complete and
to a complete stranger. Come on over here by me.
Nicole didn't see a choice.
Didn't want to let Jake spend one more day wondering where he was going to be.
This was one crack in a system full of cracks she was determined to fill.
We come together to build roads because it makes sense, and we need to come together to take care of people that need help.
You just see a need and you want to fill it, you know you can't, but you just keep going and asking and trying, and then like the perfect thing just falls right there.
How all these people came together in the time of one person's greatest need really doesn't matter. What does matter is they are all changed for it. If I didn't meet him, I'd be dead right now, he said. But really, no words are needed.
You can just say it with a hug, brother.
A hug that means comfort and a future filled with friendship, love,
family, right?
And a newfound and quite unexpected happiness.